you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers. Guys, we're going straight into the deep end today with a hard truth. Most of your marketing efforts is a spin factory, and it doesn't actually create revenue. And while that is really hard to swallow, it's really important you first hear it and then realize, okay, well, what do I do to actually see the results I want? Because you've heard it many times here on this platform. It is not about noise, it's about effectiveness. And so today I brought forward an expert who is really good at the effectiveness of marketing. Please give a very warm welcome to our guest today, Mr. Lee Thompson. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Christine.
You are very welcome. So let's talk about this illusion. Why do we still think that clicks or likes or some kind of woohoo, we saw you is helpful?
I think it's easier, right? I think what we see in a lot of modern marketing is everybody's doing a washed version of the same thing. It's easy to throw clicks, impressions, all of these things on a dashboard, while most business owners, myself included, right? You're looking at your calendar. You're like, I need appointments. I need people coming into my location. But the clicks and impressions don't mean anything if you don't have any appointments. So we have to really kind of revisit how that looks nowadays.
I love it because truthfully, guys, if you are using any kind of marketing to drive your leads towards qualified sales calls, the applause is not your best indicator. So let me flip that around. What do you think is a good indicator? And how do we know if we're bucking the trend and starting to see maybe we're on a good pathway to do more of something?
Yeah, I think really looking back at our foundational setup, right? If I get you all the traffic in the world, all the people, all the phone calls, and you can't handle that volume, we really have to look at the systems that kind of drive that. And a lot of where, we've made an adjustment, we're a local SEO company, right? But local SEO, it's not enough. You need to make sure that when somebody calls me and I miss the phone call, or one of my team misses the phone call, they get an immediate text back through AI that says, hey, missed your call. How can I help? Otherwise, lost revenue, right? I drive an ad campaign to it. Now I have 100 people doing that. I've picked up 20 calls, but I've missed the rest of them. So I need some system to get them into my ecosystem to not necessarily instantly, because I'm not a huge instant text message fan, but within a minute to 2 minutes, somehow they have been reached out to say, I know you exist. How can I help you? So we have to look at those systems pretty honestly.
Key. It's amazing how many people miss this basic start. Mm-hmm. I have did a poll of people had to come into an event of mine last month, and I asked my team to audit their websites. What we were looking for is one thing. Do you have a phone number on it? And I will tell you, 80% of the websites we looked at for people who are in my room for an event about finding clients, and I'm like, you don't even give people a way to phone you. Yep. And they're like, but we're different generations. I'm like, if it's not a generational thing, the phone is still important. I don't care if you don't ever answer it. If you text with it, that's cool. But we really, really have to recognize this. It's not optional, peeps.
Right. What do you want them to do, right? Can they book an appointment easily? The contact forms, you've got to let them go. You have to let the little contact form at the bottom of your website that people have to scroll all the way down to find that you never answer anyways. We've got to let that version go and really think, what does the user need? What does our modern generation, what do generations ahead of us want? They want quick contact, with all the likes, impressions, and everything else. They get instant gratification. We've got to be that business that jumps in that says, I will reach out to you immediately because I know you're going to bounce to 4 other places if I take 2 days to get back to you. So we've got to really be honest with ourselves that change has to happen. Change needs to happen.
Change has to happen. And this is important. And I think you mentioned something quite interesting about how quick response has to happen. And I think there is a gradient here because if you are a business that is, I'm going to say, service-based, more bricks and mortar, and somebody is in a crisis, for example, we'll say traditional home services. I need somebody to answer my phone. If you do not answer my call in the first 3 rings, I have automatically moved to the next thing. And there's probably a level of flexibility to other types of service providers. But what I see, and this is the stats that we see repeat with our clients, 80% of leads you have, you don't call. You don't do anything with.
Mm-hmm.
And you're suggesting, which I think is brilliant, that there has to be a system in place so that you capture the win it is before they move to somebody else.
Exactly. And even when my business was smaller, right, when it was just me and a computer, I still missed leads. Even if business was great, I'm losing hundreds of people because I just don't have the bandwidth to answer a phone. And something as simple as a text message that now I can pick up on a CRM. And, most millennials, Gen Z, all the above are going to prefer text messages. I don't want to call somebody. I don't want anybody to call me. I'd rather be able to solve my needs, move on to the next thing, and then go from there. I still have the option, right? I still have people that pick up the phone. I still have team members that are happy to do that version if somebody needs it. Mm-hmm. So we have to be creative, we have to be adaptable, and we have to know our audience, and I think that's a big one for anybody in business, service-based or not.
So guys, you're hearing this and we've heard this before, but guys, I'm going to hammer at it because we do need to change. We need to change what is the basic expectation. And I know I'm still dragging my feet, so let's just be honest with this. I still do want a name. And everyone's like, why? If you're going to text me, you do not need my name. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, but to phone you, I need a name. And they're like, yeah, I don't want you to phone me. And again, I'm a generation that still believes, if you honestly needed money in your business today, pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. Because I bet you it's in your known network where the warmest lead exists. And so go mine for it. But I love what you're suggesting, which is make it simple, recognize who your audience is, and be sure that you're responsive. So we get it, but are your clients actually doing this, or how much of an uphill battle is this to get them to implement?
It depends on the client. And we talk about, people that have been in business. I went to one of my TRT clients this week, actually. So he's fresh on my mind, right? He has been in doing, he is just a sale. He thinks he can sell anybody that walks into his clinic, no matter who it is, what they need. But he was one, and that's why I use the contact form. He loves his contact form. He doesn't want to let it go. He says, I've gotten business like this for 20 years. But his leads have slowed down, which is obviously why he's one of my clients now. He's recently signed on with us. He knows he has a gap, but he doesn't understand it. You couldn't book an appointment on his website. He has it available in his CRM. You could literally let people book their own thing. We changed that one thing. His bookings went up 80% in 2 weeks, just adding a booking page.
Simple, right?
He was getting traffic. He was getting all the things. He's paying. Yeah, it's easy. And that's all he had to do. So I think when we look at these things, it makes a huge difference with very small tweaks. You don't have to rebuild your whole website. You just have to make it user-friendly. You have to make it easy. And sometimes it is an uphill battle because you have to actually have them see it. So I had to show him his numbers. You're getting 300 visits to your site a month and one person booked last month. There's a problem here. You don't get that kind of local traffic with no action unless something's wrong. So most of them are pretty straight. He was my hard uphill battle this year. He's happy as can be now that we've fixed it.
Well, and a great success story. So we applaud that because it's true, because you can hear this and you can see it. We're inviting you to implement it. So when you're working with your clients, because you run an SEO company, take us through what conversations you have to create that kind of win. So when somebody's new, first discovering this, that they say, I don't just need applause, I need something else. Lee, where do I start? How do I do this? What's the conversation we need to be guided through?
Most of them have been burned before. There's so much information out there. There are so many agencies out there. So a lot of times that conversation starts off as, what do you do different? We've recently rebranded this year under the wellness industry, and we have what's called a wellness growth roadmap. What that does, it's basically 8 touch points that basically says, here's what successful businesses do. Check a box if you do it. And it really kind of outlines, if you're honest with yourself, what your business does, things you know, things you don't know. It outlines some of these fundamental areas you may be missing, which could be translating. So really, we used to have these long, never-ending discovery calls and strategy calls and all of that. We do it all live. Now we send them the roadmap in advance. here, look at these things. This is what we do. What parts are you missing? Great. We can fill in these gaps. This is our plan. This is our structure. And this is what's going to help you. So it's become a lot easier. Also knowing our audience, right? Knowing what service businesses need as opposed to other areas. Brick and mortar businesses are bread and butter, right? So it makes sense to understand them a little bit.
So for people who get lost between the revenue and the traffic, I want to come back to this because I think marketing agencies, and whether you consider yourself an agency, but people who serve in the marketing services element, whether it's SEO, copywriting, website development, anything in that breadth of traditional marketing elements for the online digital space, often get caught and tarred with the wrong brush because they're like, my job is to get you the eyeball and qualify it. But I know so many people really struggle to retain the business because they're like, yeah, but you didn't get me the sale. And we always say, well, sales is not the same as marketing. But how do you guys address that? Because when we're talking traffic and revenue, we're blending those in the same sentence.
We are. So I think it depends on the business we're working with, right? So let me go back to my TRT clinic because, again, fresh on my mind. We've created plans for them. So some of that recurring revenue is come in, sign up, you get your blood work for free. We take care of this, and this every month on a monthly retainer at whatever our price point is. So we do little membership pieces like that. We do it with med spas. We do it with chiropractors. We do it with all the above. Looking at our costs, saying, okay, what's cheap for you to do? Great. If we were to package that at, let's say, 60% of the value, do you still make money bottom line? Yes. Do people come in more often? Yes. Out of 50 people, one person is going to take advantage of it, which is cool. We just let that one person take advantage of it because they're only going to do it for so long. Then we look at our previous clients, right? How many people have come in? How many people have a filing cabinet of dead charts in their back room that they haven't seen, they haven't reached out to, they haven't sent a coupon for, hey, come get a free exam. We haven't seen you in a year. Why don't we check this out? So again, automating, using AI to our advantage. AI doesn't do our strategy. AI does the heavy lifting. Using it to our advantage to automatically reach out to a list of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 leads in some places that know you, have used your services, but life happened. They got busy. They're not mad at you. They just need a reminder that you still exist. So we look at pieces like this for money that is just sitting there. And how do we encourage people to come back into our ecosystem, whether that's monthly, whether that's after 4 years, whether that's just a check-in. How's everything going?
This is important because I know we get so focused on new, right? The new client, the new data, the new lead, and we're spun in that cycle. But so much of your long-term revenue can come from something in your ecosystem. So what I'm hearing from you is data mine, right? Think about your long-term communication strategy. And I would hear it combination to what you said earlier, which is combine it with some adapted, easily responded to communication pathways to get the ball rolling. And when you do that, guess what? Great return for pretty marginal lift to make it happen.
Right.
So for you, walk me through, is this AI something you have to implement? Does the team have to implement it? How much of this is lifted on, the small business owner themselves? Because we love this concept, but I bet we're a little afraid to step in.
Right. So I have a couple versions, right? I have some low ticket, like here's a PDF, how to do it yourself. I always recommend my team handle it for you. Any of our retainer clients get a full foundational setup. We fill in all of their gaps on the back end. We make sure everything runs smooth. And we do it for about the first month, right? First month is let's fix everything. Let's get it running. Let's give it some time to test. Because most business owners, they want to run their business. They don't want to learn new AI. They don't want to learn meta ads. They don't want to learn these things on the back end. And if they do it, are they going to do it consistently? Maybe for a month. Are they going to do it well? Probably not as well as my team. That's okay. I started from scratch back when I opened my agency in 2018, right? But as a business owner who owns a med spa, do you really want to focus on the back end communication, or do you want to let a team handle it? Then your team can do what they do best. All the heavy lifting is done on the back end. And that's usually what we recommend for us.
This is a smart strategy. I love that you're indicating, ask this question, because it's always a question of, can you do it? Probably. Should you do it? Maybe. But what's the gain? What's the long-term support plan? And how will you actually be effective or know you're effective if this expertise is not your day-to-day bread and butter.
Right.
Getting started is the easy bit, guys. Sustaining stuff is the hard stuff. And trust me, that's exactly where we get to our shiny object syndrome, which we were just talking about. And so I want to ask you, for you, because you're a business owner who's been growing since 2018 in a market that you say has a lot of heat because there's a lot of sizzle and sometimes longevity is not as easy to find. For you, what's working right now in your business to stay away from the shiny objects and to actually keep focused on the things that work?
Really, I fought it kicking and screaming, if I'm going to be honest, but niching down to one industry. I used to want to help everybody, right? I had personal injury lawyers, I had pet photographers, I had a little bit of everything. And while I could still provide quality work, what's working in my business is really understanding the wellness industry, an industry that I'm passionate about, that we've really been able to nail down. One, where their problems are, but two, I can use these automations and things to do a lot of the heavy lifting for an industry I understand. And I think anyone who has a business that has not found their avatar, who has not found their niche, who has not found the group of people that they want to work with, I would strongly encourage you. And again, I fought it for years, and I've never felt better about, one, the stability of my business, but two, my ability to help these owners as I have since we relaunched. So I think that's made a huge difference in what's working for me.
I love that you use the word stability, because I talk a lot about this with people in my business. The goal of entrepreneurship is not to constantly be on fire. I know that's the experience many of us have. That's why we flame out. That's why we get overwhelmed. That's why it happens. But I'm like, that's actually not what you see in big business. Right, you don't see the constant fire that you see in entrepreneurship. And a big part of that is, if you understand somebody, you're confident answering questions. When we're searching for solutions, we want to know, not just does it work, which is the first principle of credibility. We're asking a bigger question as a buyer. Will it work for me? And if you can say, we work in that industry exclusively, and here's all the testimonials, and here's all the evidence, and we can accelerate that path, trust is built so much faster. And when trust is built faster and predictably, guess what? We have stability. It is absolutely the goal line. And I say, I want to be able to write my check, have a stable income, and choose who I play with. And truthfully, defining your customer, not optional, guys. And I love that you fought it, but I love that you gave in, and I love that you see the win on the other side of it.
Yeah, I wish I'd done it years ago. Here we are.
Here we are. We get there in the end. So if people are looking to get support, because guys, I've said this on this show before, SEO should not be something you're trying to learn. It moves so fast. If this is not your bread and butter, do not make it a side hustle. It is not going to help you to the ROI that outsourcing this is. So for you, how do people find you? Why would they come to you, and where do they start?
So go clicksense.io is where they find me. You'll talk to me or one of my team. I haven't let my sales calls go yet. I like to know who's coming into my business, even though my team, again, is telling me to leave it alone. We also have at clicksense.io at our WGR page for Wellness Growth Roadmap. So if anybody's interested in getting that free download, take a look, see where your business is at. It does work for every service industry. It is called the Wellness Growth Roadmap. But if you have a service business, you could really take a look at kind of where you're at. And I definitely have a lot of resources to help if you talk to one of my team. If I can't personally help you, I also have plenty of recommendations. So
guys, go to the expert. This is Lee Thompson. You guys see his details, clicksense.io. You want to go connect him because, as I said from the very beginning, hard truth, if your marketing isn't leading to revenue and you're not qualifying people and being responsive to them, you're leaving so much money on the table. And Lee and I want you to mint the money, not leave it behind. Thank you for being our guest today, guys. This is Amplify Your Marketing Message. We want you to win. Customers are out there. Let's make sure you're getting your piece of the puzzle. We'll see you all in our next episode. Be sure to go connect to Lee and get your wellness clients finding great solutions today. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks.
That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit ChristineCampbellRapin.com/podcast to to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all